Hi my lovelies, welcome back. So this week we're going to be looking at the graphic novel Lucky Penny, and I'll be reviewing that because I blitzed it and it was so good. We are going to be taking a look at a music concert that was held where I live here in Perth, Western Australia. It was amazing and I filmed the whole thing, and it was just lovely to hear some live music, and you got to see lots of people coming out on adjacent balconies and in different apartment complexes, and we saw humans again. It was amazing. We're going to be looking at a recipe for peanut butter and jam marshmallow squares. They're so yummy and so very comforting. We're also going to be doing a very special UK/Norwich food for the soul, and this is where I review and recommend to you what gets me through. So things like radio shows, TV shows, streaming services, and we look at things like cafes and artists locally there as well. And last but not least, we're also going to be looking at The Raid 1 and 2, because back to back it is by far one of the better mixed Malaysian martial arts movie franchises out there, and there is no romance, not a lot of comedy, it is all things action. I love it. So yeah, I'm going to talk you through all of that, and then when we get to the end I'll tell you what's happening next week. Thanks for listening guys, and keep with me. So now we're going to talk about Lucky Penny, the graphic novel by Anand Hirsch and Yuko Ota. It is a wonderful take on a disaster of a human life that is a young lady called Penny. She goes from bad to worse in situations through work, and one of her best mates is moving away, and basically long and the short of it, she then finds that she is going to be working for her friend's family business in a very menial job, and then she meets a guy, and it's just about her journey, basically. It is a very heartfelt story, and totally relatable, by the way, through periods of my life where I didn't have work or a fella or any kind of people out there, or friends move away, and it's just about you finding your feet, getting your independence, finding your confidence in life, and going through it, basically. And yeah, it is a wonderful graphic novel. The artwork's gorgeous, the storyline's relatable and heartfelt and very geekish, all things cat loving. Yeah, much like any other graphic novel that I tend not to be able to put down, I got through this quite quickly and then was very sad when I came to the end of it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I recommend anybody out there that's looking for their next fix and want an interesting storyline to look it up. And like I say, you can get it from libraries, reputable sellers online, and bookshops if any of them are indeed still open. Lucky Penny, guys, well worth a read. So hey guys, we were going to do a look at the concert that the family band, the Godlemans, put on for us last Sunday here in West Perth. The music video is about an hour long, and it is going to be too big a file to put on this episode, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it at the bottom of the episode, like a link, and you guys can click on it and you can listen to a wonderful hour's concert by the family band, the Godlemans. They're really great. It was a concert that a bunch of local council groups and the tenants agency put on for all of these apartment complexes here in West Perth. And because our apartment complex had this platform area, it made sense for them to set up and do their concert there. But everybody was coming out of balconies. We got to see human beings again, guys. It was amazing. We had phones and lighters in the air like a regular concert. And it was just lovely to hear some live music and see happy faces, just being in the moment. I'm sure it was a break for everybody from the four walls and just, escapism from all of this COVID scariness. So yeah, you guys can click on the link below at this episode and you can watch the concert in full and hear all the wonderful music they did for us, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we did listening and watching it. So much like with previous episodes and recipes and ideas that I have for us to make stuff while we're in lockdown, the peanut butter and jam marshmallow squares. I'm going to attach the recipe, the ingredients link at the bottom of this episode, along with the Godleman's concert video. And yeah, guys, they are so yummy. They are so comforting. They are so necessary. Make them, enjoy them, consume them, and let me know what you think of them. Thanks. Now we're going to talk about the Raid 1 and 2. Now, I watched these back to back the other day, but the easiest way for me to describe what these movies are is the best form of escapism with mixed Malaysian martial arts and just a lot of action sequences that are beautifully choreographed. The amazing director Gareth Evans is behind these. I think these are his best films to date. The actors in it are immense. I went and saw this when it first came out. My partner asked me what I wanted to see for Valentine's Day. And I remember going to the cinema with him and just feeling so excited to watch this film. I also remember that during the film, about 5 minutes in, another couple was there. Obviously, she hadn't actively made the decision to want to go see this. She was thinking it was going to be a rom-com. Oh my days, she was in for a real good treat. She got right up the hump and spilt her popcorn everywhere, stood up and stormed out saying she can't believe that he brought her to this, which is hilarious to me, because if I had the choice between this and anything else, I pretty much, and I include, this is a big thing, I include a Disney, a rom-com, a black comedy, anything like that. I would have rather seen this any day, especially when it got all the way to the end and I was just thinking, I need more of this. Hence why, when he brought out the Raid 2, the Redemption, oh my days, I was so happy, absolutely ecstatic about this. The storylines follow one after the other for both movies. Continuity, actors, fantastic action sequences, can't express this enough to you. Definitely not one for children. Unless you are the most progressive parent and you are bringing your kids up for the burgeoning apocalypse, in which case, good for you. Thunderdome, kindergarten. So yeah, these two movies, back to back, are a genius way to spend an afternoon, evening. Like I said, I personally think they are the best he's done so far. I absolutely adore them both. Had to watch them back to back because it just makes actual sense. Why wouldn't you? What else is there to do? So yeah, have a look at these two guys, the Raid 1, the Raid 2, and they are both fantastic. You will enjoy them thoroughly. And yeah, I love them. In case you find any correlation between the amazing Raid films and Judge Dredd, you're absolutely right, you're not going insane. They did rip it off and they did nothing better with it whatsoever. Much like The Departed, even though Scorsese is amazing in his own right, but he clearly stole the entire storyline from Infernal Affairs and the awesome original Japanese film. I think, remakes are all very well and good, but they're never as good as the original. So yeah, if you like Judge Dredd, good for you. But for me personally, I'll stick to, believe it or not, the tongue-in-cheek Stallone original, and I'll just watch the Raids, which are far better. Hey beauties, so now we're going to have a look at UK/Norwich food for the soul. While I've been out here in Perth, in WA, I've still been keeping up with my BBC iPlayer streaming services via using the NordVPN, so I can still watch and listen to all my favourite shows. Specifically music-wise, I'm always on Radio 6. I am in love with all things the Craig Charles Funk and Soul Show, and I do love me a little bit of the Rebelettes as well. They're both such varied and interesting worldly shows with wonderful music throughout and just a little bit of sassy personality to boot as well. I love them. I always listen to them. When I'm back home, I listen to them, and whenever I'm abroad, I listen to them. More closely, when I'm in Norwich, back in the day, I used to do a couple of bits for Future. And one of my all-time brothers from another mother is one of the radio presenters there. He is called Lee Staples, and his show is the Things That Make You Go Ooh show. And again, much like the Rebelettes and Craig Charles, he is all things interesting, unusual, and worldly. And he is most definitely comedic as well. He is a good friend of mine and a fantastic radio presenter to boot, with a wonderfully eclectic taste in music. I definitely suggest you check out all 3 radio programs whenever you're back. Food-wise, I am missing me some Russian Caravan black dog tea from Biddy's Tea Room. Whenever I'm back home, I always try and etch out some time. School's permitting for my best friend with her son and with her work schedule. It's always nice to have a afternoon tea there, or I think it's called half-ternoon tea, where you get these 3 layers of either cake, sandwiches, salad, and your own tea, and it is just gorgeous. It's a lovely atmosphere at Biddy's. I've been going for years, and it's only gotten better and more popular, obviously, as well. Much love to my best friend Rach. I miss you terribly. Artist-wise, whenever I'm back in town, I try and catch up with one of my favourite artists and all-time favourite past lecturers, actually. She's called Ella Wheeler-Goodwin, and she's got some fantastic illustration work out there, as well as her own shop on Etsy. And she also runs the local makers market as well. She is an amazing artist and a wonderful human being. You can also find Ella's work on Facebook under Ella Goodwin Illustration. She is a wonderful person to boot, and her work is stunningly beautiful and very much collective and addictive. So yeah, I recommend looking her up. Music, artists, food, I mean, there's so much we can talk about with Norfolk in general. It is a beautiful part of the world. Obviously, with everything that's going on at the minute, it's very hard to do anything or go anywhere or see anything different, but I highly recommend, if you're ever that way, that you have a look at the Norfolk Broads and the Norfolk coastline. Gorgeous wildlife, lovely landscapes to boot. Get your cameras out for photography. There's lots to take pictures of. It's all beautiful. So yeah, those are my highlights and what I miss most about the UK, Norwich, BBC iPlayer. See if you agree, disagree, want to have a look. Either way, those are my opinions. I'm sticking to them. So guys, after all that, I'm just going to run through with you what I'm going to be doing for episode 4. We're going to be looking at The Mandalorian, which I didn't get a chance to properly review this week. I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to finally do some henna tattoo work. Drunk or otherwise, it will look good. I'm being confident about this. Let's give it a go. I'm going to have a look at the O.J. Simpson documentaries, the Made in America, the parts 1 through 5 on the BBC iPlayer. I'm going to look at Frida Kahlo, why she's so influential still to this day as an artist and as a feminist and a woman in general. And yeah, I'm also going to be reading Wet Moon by Sophie Campbell, another graphic novel for us to have a look at. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you next time. Girl, please, I didn't promise you the shit would be good.